as the door slammed behind Emily. The only thing that really crossed my mind was, really? Her brother was freaking Danny Dynamite. And she never told me. I sighed for a moment, shaking my head, as I walked a little bit closer to Danny Dynamite. Man, I do not know what you did to piss her off. And trust me, I've known her for a long time. And she hasn't said a word to me about it. As far as whatever you two's deal is, I'm just as in the dark about it as anyone else. And as well as I know, Emily, trust me, the silence says everything. I'm so angry at you that I'm going to simply no longer acknowledge that you exist is about as bad as it gets. But that aside, I suppose we should talk about business. Primarily, you being the weapons tech from my little run in the Black Label races. Danny shook himself off a bit, cracking his neck and adjusting himself before turning around to his goons. Alright, you jackasses, get out of here. Go enjoy yourselves or something. I got business matters to discuss. But boss, one of the goons chimed up. Don't we have like 3 other jobs to do? I mean, we can't just dump everything off. Shut the fuck up, Danny replied. Who's the boss here? Are you the boss? Are you the weapons genius who can build anything? No? Then maybe you should shut your goddamn mouth before I decide to retract your fucking paycheck. If you're lucky. Yeah, boss. No problems here. Yeah, that's what I freaking thought. Ugh, Danny sighed. Being the boss is a task. Trust me, guy. It's not one you like. It's not as nice as people crack it up to be. You mainly end up dealing with morons and jackasses. So, what's the deal with you and Emmy? You're a boyfriend or something? Danny asked, giving me a curious expression, looking me over from head to toe, like he was measuring me up. No, I'm just her friend. Basically her best friend, and have been for an exceptionally long time. Me and Emily go way back. She's gotten me in more than my fair share of trouble, but there's always fairly good money in it, so I suppose, despite bullets in the ass and whatnot, it comes with the territory of making money, which she's surprisingly good at, if you didn't know. Now, let's talk over weaponry. Yeah, I suppose we should get to it, but listen close. Don't even think for an instant that I'd be doing this for anyone else without a buttload of money in it. If it wasn't for Emily, I'd be leaving your ass high and dry. And if you ask me whose side I'm choosing in any sort of falling out between you two, I'm going with Emmy. No questions. Yeah, I gotcha, I replied, scratching the back of my head a bit. Okay, so what kind of vehicle you rolling? It better be something damn well nice if you plan on entering the Black Label races. Oh no, don't tell me. She wants me to get you a ride too, doesn't she? No, I replied. I've got my own transportation. Cutting edge, you might say. It's parked right outside. But since Emily's out there cooling off, we'll put that on the back burner. But it's basically a heavy-duty motorcycle, heavily armored, and outfitted with a slightly used, but still very much functional, 3rd generation biotech engine. Holy fucking shit, Danny replied. Where in the hell did you get one of those? I've been trying to get one for years, but there are none on the market. Those things are basically indestructible. Or at least the things they tend to put them in are. And the damn things never wear out, so they don't get thrown away. Either that or they've got some high-class recycling, and thus no need to throw them out. Regardless of what way you cut it, nobody's seen one. So I'm finding it a bit hard to believe that you got your hands on one, Danny said, still giving me that disbelieving expression, and checking me over. Hey, I'm not here to bullshit you, man, I replied. It would just be a waste of time to lie to you about what I have, especially seeing as you seem to be willing to do whatever Emily says. Even if I told you that I had no vehicle at all, for whatever reason, I'm getting the distinct feeling that you'd just freaking deal with it. So I'm under no obligation to try to impress you with lies. You don't need to know the details, but long story short, I got my hands on a third-generation biotech engine, direct from an XPC. Basically, I stripped an XPC down and turned it into a motorcycle. Holy fucking shit, an XPC? You know, I'm really starting to think you're fucking with me. No, I'm not, I replied. But for all the speed and armor that my bike has, I haven't equipped it with any weaponry. I need a set of weapons, both for the bike and for me, that's gonna fit my style. Something that matches me. Personally, I can use guns. I'm as proficient as anyone else might be. Probably a little more so, if anything. But where I really shine tends to be close combat, hand-to-hand, and close-range weapons. So basically, if I were to put a pin in exactly what I needed out of this, I need you to design me a set of weaponry, armaments, defenses that revolve around me being able to close the distance on my enemies quickly, without getting killed. To be able to drop massive damage, knock opponents out of the race, and then get out just as quickly. Now the motorcycle will take care of the speed part. Getting in and out is something that I can already do. It's the doing it without dying and being able to deal the heavy damage that's really the problem in this matter. And so that's what I'm gonna need you to take care of. I'm damn good with an engine. I can put together or take apart basically anything. But weapons are not my specialty. Motors are. Basically anything attached to wheels. So, is that something you think you can handle? Danny said, scratching his beard and thinking it over, taking a long drag off of that cigar hanging in his mouth. Yeah, I think I can handle it. You said you're running a third-generation biotech engine? Those things put off some serious juice. I'd say that's what I'm gonna have to utilize the most. Capitalize on it. Build you a system of weapons and protection that relies on the heavy output of that third-generation biotech engine. But yeah, I think it can be done. I'm also going to need you to make sure that you don't drastically affect the speed or maneuverability of my bike. I don't suddenly need to become some sluggish tank of a motorcycle. I need to keep my maneuverability, my speed. Yeah, no matter how we arm it up, going in with a motorcycle is going to have you at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to defenses. I'm not stupid enough to weigh you down with cannons, make your only advantage unusable. I'm not stupid, guy. So, me and Danny spent a little bit more time talking things over. Afterwards, I told him that me and Emily were going to have to go on a run. We still needed to pick up the programmer, the one who's supposed to monitor and upkeep the electronic systems on the bike. So I filled him in on where I lived and that he was going to need to set up there, while me and Emily went to go fetch the programmer. Of Quite frankly, I wanted to ask him about the deal between him and his sister. But quite frankly, I didn't want to get on Emily's bad side. If she didn't want to tell me, it could be just as much trouble trying to ask him about it.